Topic name is application lifecycle, iOS application lifecycle, and how the application flows and what's the flow of the application that we are going to see now. So let's create a small project and let's identify the process. What exactly the lifecycle process here? Create a single view application here, lifecycle. That's it. It is for the same for both universal or iPad or iPhone. The process is same. Alright, so before going further, I would like to give some small information about what exactly this application lifecycle is. Basically, iOS framework rely on design patterns, so such as MVC, which called as model view controller, and delegation in the implementation. Okay, and so we have so many design patterns. So one of the design patterns is MVC and few other design patterns. So here, uh, so understanding these design patterns is crucial to the successful creation of an app. It also helps to familiar with an Objective-C language and its features. This application lifecycle I'm talking about. And for any application, for any C++ in Objective-C as well, the starting point, I mean, just the entry point of every C-based app is main function. And all iOS apps also the same. They are no different. It's not different. But what is different here for the real C-based applications and this Objective-C here? So the difference here is in iOS apps, you do not need to write this main function yourself. Instead, Xcode creates this function as a part of your basic project, like absolutely here. This main function has been created automatically just now. We don't need to create anything like this. Okay. So what exactly this main function roles and responsibilities? The only thing to mention about main function is that its job is to hand control off to the UI kit. That's it. And then UI application main function handles this process by creating the core objects of your app, loading your app user interface from available storyboard files, or even calling your custom code so that you can have a chance to do some initial setup, and even putting apps run loop in motion. So the only piece that you have to provide are storyboard files and custom initialization code. That's it. So overall, the main function just handles the responsibilities to UI kit framework. So from here to application UI kit, so it will immediately come here and just executes the did finish launching. So here where you can do some initial setup for your application. This is a place where you can set up the initial setup of your application. All right, and then there are few things are there. Application will resign active, application will enter background, application will enter foreground, application did become active, and application will terminate. What are all these? So these are all other delegate methods of UI application. As I said, the main function is given the responsibilities to UI application kit, UI kit. So one of the class in the UI kit is UI application. So just if you want to just confirmation from where this methods came, look at this. These methods came from UI application delegate, which came from UI application.h file. So these methods will call automatically. So that's the reason why we call this as application lifecycle methods. That's the reason why we call this as application lifecycle methods. Okay, so why we call this application lifecycle methods again? So based on the application state of your application, it will call these methods based on the situation. Absolutely. So now I have a question. What is the states of your application? There are 5 states of your application. What are those? Not running state, inactive state, active state, background state, and suspended state. Okay, there are 5 states are there, but how can you control the states? That's a question here. We can control the states just with the help of these application lifecycle methods. Okay, just want to know that what exactly this application lifecycle methods. Just in our Apple documentation, they have given very clearly app life cycle, application life cycle, iOS. I think the first link will be the Apple Store link. I mean, iOS link. Let's see. Yeah. So look at this. These are the states of your app: not running state, inactive state, active state, background state, and suspended state. So what are each and every state doing? So not running state is nothing but when your application is not even started and your application is terminated, and after that application terminated, that's called your application is in inactive state. I mean to say not running state, not inactive, not running state. And what is inactive state? Here the application is in foreground. Absolutely the application is foreground, but it's not even receiving any events. Means it's keeping idle, but still you are seeing the application without any user interactions. Then the application goes on inactive state. Okay, and then what is an active state? Active state is the one which is currently you're looking into the app and even you're continuously giving the user interactions and even it's responding for your user interactions. That's called active state. And what is the background state? So basically the background state is nothing but you're not you're not able to see the application in your application. It's just running in somewhere, but it is running in the somewhere means some background state. Okay, so code is not at the foreground but still it's running. So then we call them as executing the code is nothing but background state. So that's what the background state. And what's the suspend state? Means your application is not even it's not in the foreground and it's not even executing any code, then application eventually fall into suspended state. Simply. And even the point here is whenever your applications in your phone or device or iPad device is running or executing huge amount of space or huge including huge amount of memory in your heap, then obviously what are all the applications which are there in the suspended state, those apps will be killed automatically by the system. So those are all killed automatically by the system who are all in the suspended state when your application is low. So this is what your things here. So if you want to make your app background, so the status is active to inactive, inactive to background. And if you want to keep application suspended, the process is active to inactive and then background to suspended. And what happens when you click an app, when you just click your app from your device like iPhone or iPad? So initially it's a not running state, then it'll come to inactive and then active. Okay. And so what happens when you click home button? Means automatically it goes from active to inactive, inactive to background. That's it. So this is how the flow is going on. So all these states can be captured with these methods. With these methods. Okay. Let us say when you're running your application and suddenly you got a call. So what happens? Immediately your application goes to the background. So it means it goes from active to inactive and then background. So how can you capture that state? Because suddenly you have developed an application, so some gaming application where you want to save the states of your score, mean gaming score. Then what you have to do? We need to save that whole score before going to the background, isn't it? So how can you handle all those things? Just because of using these methods. So let's play with those methods, and we have a wonderful method called nslog, where you can see in which method you are in, because we'll keep the breakpoints or we'll give this nslog in all the methods so that we can understand the flow easily. Let's keep that. Amen. Yes. What is the method? This is a wonderful function method where it tells detail about your function, in which method you are in. So copy this method in all the methods wherever you are in, so that whenever this method call, automatically this line gets printed, so that you can understand the flow, what exactly how it's going on, isn't it? So we'll keep all these things, and again you can just keep these things in this view controller as well. And this method generally will not call until your something running out of your memory in your device. Okay, so let's start this application so that you can understand the flow. enable the debugger here. It's not started, it's loading, started. Look at this, immediately few statements will come here. Look at this. I'm in main means application came from here. This method got executed. And then I'm in app delegate did finish launching with options means this method got executed. And then I'm in view controller video load method means it came here immediately then after. And then it went to back application did become active means this one. Application did become active. This one. So this is the flow till it launches the view controller, isn't it? So now let's see. Suddenly, if you receive any call, what happens? Your application goes background. So let's simulate the same scenario in the simulator by pressing the home button. So what's the buttons here for pressing the home button? Command, Shift, and H. Look at this. So immediately my app went into background, and look at this. The methods called here, application will resign active. Application did enter background. So let me put the breakpoint so that you can understand very clearly from the states. So now application is already in the background, right? So let's click that app, Lifecycle. Look at this. So before it's entering, as per the norms, what method should call? So app in the background means it should call the inactive state, then active state. Look at this. So now it's entering the foreground. Isn't the same thing, right? It's entering the foreground now. So I have a method called foreground. Then it enters into the did become active. That's the next method it will call. So this is a breakpoint. So continue the breakpoint. So now it came here. So then enter the foreground. Then it came to application did become active. That's it. And launch. Isn't it? So the application is launched. Now again, just go back to the home background. Command Shift H. Look at this. Now it's resigning its responsibilities. The same thing is called again. Application will resign. Then application will enter background. Will enter background. Now what to do is when this method will call them, application will terminate. When your application is about to terminate, let's do that as well. So to how to kill your app generally, you generally double tap your home button, isn't it? So we'll do the same thing here. Command Shift double tap of your H button on your keyboard, isn't it? Now you just try to kill your lifecycle application. Then observe the statement here. This method will call. I killed it. Oh, application got crashed. Cool. So let me run this once again. Once again, and then launch it. Then just double tap the home button here. Double tap the home button. It means that application is launched, and then I'm just resigning the responsibilities. Means even though if it's going to the background, it's absolutely goes to the resign inactive and then background. Yeah. And now I'm going to terminate this application now. So did enter background, then application will terminate. I did not keep breakpoint here. That's the reason why it did not stop here. Application will terminate, isn't it? So this is how any application flow. So in our interviews, they'll ask like they'll give a scenario and they'll ask us the flow. What's the flow? So you can easily get the flow by keeping this nslog statement with the help of helper method call underscore function underscore. We can understand the flow. What exactly where you are in, isn't it? So you can find more videos and more tutorials. If you want to contact me, you can contact me like uh, it's my mail id is iOSDeveloper.ipa at gmail.com. So you can contact me if you have any questions or any kind of help related to the projects or anything, so that I can help you out. So I have totally 40 plus sessions to give the proper training on this iOS to get started from the scratch from the Objective-C 52 application publishing to the App Store. So that's all from my end. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you in the next session.